especially I was really wanting to have this like natural thing. So I get naked as soon as possible and I put her on my chest.
Skin to skin.
Skin to skin, skin to skin. And then she started like a little alien. She's like wiggling down to the breast.
Oh my gosh.
It was really gross. But she did it. And I was
it's
like,
amazing.
It's amazing.
Like how do they come out going like.
Welcome to the full Momty. You know it's hard out here being moms. We always seem to get the job done. Moms, they run the world. Moms, they run the world.
Hi,
Vanya.
Hi, Jackie.
And hello, everybody.
Hi,
Welcome
guys.
to the full
Momty.
Ooh. This is a good one. This is a juicy one.
Oh,
Pun intended.
Very
'Cause of
juicy.
childbirth.
It's right. After birth. Gross. Sorry.
Hey, it happens. That's what, we don't talk about it enough,
Nope.
man. This shit's scary.
Mm-hmm.
And
Birth stories.
we're going to talk about our birth stories.
Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one. And I want to hear yours because I haven't heard yours yet.
Oh, right.
Because every time you try to tell me, I said, save for the
yeah,
podcast.
she's like, don't tell me. Okay, so my daughter, who I had in New York City, I was working at the time as a bartender. I know. Yeah, that's right. Pregnant bartender, right? Some people were mean about it. There were some dumb ladies, no offense, but they were like, no offense to the lady culture, but no, like, I think there was like an NYU student. She's like, oh my God, you're bartending and you're pregnant. I'm like, yeah, and you're a bitch. I didn't say that, but I wanted to. I was just like, yeah.
That's like the opposite of it. When I see like pregnant bartenders or waitresses,
anybody,
I'm like, God,
you're a power.
Bless you.
I know.
Yeah.
But see, that's the thing is like I was an actor, so I worked in a bar for 9 years. I had similar shit. I always worked Tuesday night. I worked at the end of while I was pregnant, I was working Tuesday nights, which they stay open till 4 a.m., which is a little intense. And then I do a Thursday day shift and a Friday day shift, and sometimes I would do Saturday. So this time it was a Friday. And it was supposed to be I had one more shift on Saturday, and then it was going to be 2 weeks before my due date. So I could like relax, get things ready and just basically be pregnant and enjoy it for a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? That didn't get to happen for me. And so it's Friday. It's around happy hour. And this bar is awesome. It's a bar called Tom and Jerry's in New York City. It's on Elizabeth and Houston. And it's, especially when I was working there from like 2006 to plus 9 years, whatever when my daughter was born. So, and then after a little bit, yeah. But it's a great bar. It's a lot of regulars, people I knew. And then at happy hour, it would be all the people getting off of work, like Rockstar, that production company was there that did like games, like video games. Anyways, there was a ton of people who would get off work and come, and I knew them all. They're very sweet. And because I was pregnant, they were just handing me 20s. It was very nice, very, very,
That's a perk. Okay.
Very nice. And anyway, so I would usually be alone until a certain amount of like time, and my boss got there and I was like, oh, another guy got there. I was like, I have to pee so bad, like I've been holding it, like, so I ran and the bar's full, crazy.
Which when you're pregnant you have to pee all the time.
And so I ran to go pee, and then I stood up and I was like, that is so weird. I thought you weren't supposed to have like incontinent stuff until after you had the baby, because I'm still peeing. And I was like, that is just bizarre. And then it kind of stopped a little and I was like, that's so weird. And so I made a joke to my boss, who is hilarious. She's a kooky lady, a little, probably like 10 years older, 20 years older than me. And I was like, my water may have broke, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, go downstairs and get your stuff and go to the hospital. I'm like, I'm fine. And then I really wasn't like thinking. That morning I went and I had Wendy's before I got to work, because I was like, I don't know, I was really, really hungry. Like my body was basically getting me ready. So I had a meal and then and a Frosty, and I was so hungry I ordered the same thing again. And I've never done that. The same thing, and I ate it and drank it again. Like, so I was like, yeah. Anyways, so she's like freaking out, like, so I go downstairs to get my stuff, and my husband was there. We had a car at the time in New York, which is kind of like unheard of. I brag. Yeah. And it was a 5-speed. So it was like, had I known I was going to be pregnant, I don't know if I would have gotten a stick shift car, but whatever, it's fine. And so he had a drink, so he was fine, but like he wasn't expecting to have to drive. Like I was going to drive us. And anyways, so the bouncer came downstairs and he was like, he's also an EMT and he's a firefighter. He's like, are you okay? Joe said you were, my boss was like, Joe said you were in labor. And I was like, I mean, I'm fine. And then they handed me some like plastic bags. So I put them on the car seat. We went home and then I started to freak out. I'm like, oh, I think I actually am I going to have a baby? Like, I'm not supposed to have a baby for 2 weeks.
Yeah, which again, especially if it's your first birth, you don't know what to expect. And the stuff they show in movies and TV is very rarely how it happens.
My God.
And like sometimes you don't even know your water broke or like you're like, it's all nuts.
It's all nuts. And that's the thing is I did have a doula. Because that's what I had a doula, which was a friend who I just adore her. She's so sweet. Her name's Amy. And she was more like, a light touch to like she helped Adam, she helped me throughout,
Yeah. But
birth.
I just mean like, body wise, sometimes you don't, it's all foreign. It's the first time, so you don't know exactly
crazy.
What's happening to your body.
We went to New York this October and I took the kids to the bar and I was like,
Did you reenact it?
Yeah, I reenacted it. I peed my pants just for them.
Beautiful commitment.
No, I took them to the bathroom. I was like, this is where my water broke with you, Amelia.
Oh,
but I mean,
okay. So it turns out you're going in the taxi? No,
we drove.
Okay, you drove. Right.
Yeah, I didn't drive.
Trip. And you have the sheets, and then you're like, wait. That's when it sinks.
That's when I'm like, it's still coming out.
It's happening. I'm gonna have a baby.
I think that her head kind of like blocked the water coming out. I think, but it was kind of like I had kind of like a dry, or it was painful, man. And she was only 6 pounds, but my son also 2 weeks early. Wow. I guess that's just the way I just like have a baby.
Yeah.
I grow a baby 2 weeks earlier than most people, so
I'm jealous.
Brag.
Mine bake in there for
really,
and I had to get induced
that.
Twice. Why? I wanted the movie situation of like, oh, my water broke.
Yeah, but it was not fast. I mean, as you know, it's not fast. It's like what happens to your body is just so intense. It's like the contractions are basically like. With each contraction, it's like kind of pushing this baby down, and then as it gets closer, it's like pushing it all. And I did get an epidural. I was like under a little bit of a spell of like I did a lot of yoga back then. I love yoga. Yoga's great, but I was like definitely under a crunchier spell where I was like I want to have an unmedicated birth. I want all these things. I'm gonna do it in a hospital, but like I think somewhere. You see the videos of like people having a birth in a pool in their house, and it's like everybody's holding hands and hugging, and
it
looks so peaceful. And I knew I was too scared to do it at my gross apartment in New York City. But I wanted this spiritual experience of having a baby. Like I have a friend who had an orgasmic birth.
What?
Yeah, we should have her on.
I know. She orgasmed?
Yeah, there's a whole thing.
Bit of a different story for me.
Yeah, bit of a different story.
Well, I was screaming, but
it was awful.
Not in pleasure.
No.
Wow.
So that's it. I mean, like, and then eventually we went home, and I didn't want to go to the hospital. I wanted to birth at home. Like, what do you call it? Like, I wanted to labor at home for as long as possible.
Okay.
And then eventually the doctor was like, "You need to go to the hospital," and I'm like, "I feel fine. What are you talking about?"
Wow.
And then it was just insane. It was insane, and it hurt. But guess what? I don't remember too much. That's like the birth story is that my water broke at a bar and I was bartending and I was like lifting ice. But I will also say is that birth or that pregnancy I was really fit because I was on my feet a lot and I was definitely towards the end my feet were like huge and fat. But I was really like I felt pretty good because I was walking around New York. I was working, standing up. I wasn't really sedentary. And then for my son, I worked in an office, so I was sitting a lot, and that was and he was huge. He was like 3 pounds heavier than she was, and I almost had to have a C-section at the end because I could not get him out. I was like, I did have an epidural too, but I still could move, so the epidural didn't work. And the guy who came in to give me the epidural looked like he was about 16.
Oh,
he had red hair, and I was just like, nothing wrong with red hair, but I was just like in my memory, I'm just like. Are you really an anesthesiologist? But it didn't work. Whatever. But yeah.
Wow.
But that birth I had in LA, and I didn't have to change rooms. It was lovely.
Are you really an anesthesiologist? You thought maybe he just came in. He's a young dad.
He's like, I'm trying something out,
This giant.
It's my new
sorry.
hobby.
But, yeah. But okay. And everything, I mean, healthy.
Amelia was healthy. They thought she had meconium. She might have had meconium, whatever, when they eat the poop. And so they whisked her away. So my daughter, they whisked her away. Mm-hmm. And they checked her and she was okay, thank God. And they put her on and I like getting naked. Because, all the things you read, especially I was really wanting to have this like natural thing. So I get naked as soon as possible and I put her on my chest.
Skin to skin.
Skin to skin, skin to skin. And then she started like a little alien. She's like wiggling down to the breast.
Oh my gosh.
It was really gross. But she did it. And I was like,
it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Like how do they come out going like.
Yeah. And so she was incredible. Calvin, I had a doula as well, and my doula for Calvin was more like I did like 6 classes leading up, like sort of 6 sessions with her leading up, and a lot of it was almost like therapy, like asking about like. Yeah, I was really grateful for that. She was super. She's amazing. She's a midwife now, but she's definitely got the hippie vibe for sure. And I did save my placenta, and I had it made into like little pills and a tincture.
Did you eat it?
Yeah. I didn't eat the placenta, but I ate the pills.
The pill.
Yeah. And they actually had to stop because they made me feel like I was like on cocaine or something. Not that I've ever done cocaine, but it felt like.
What's the point in eating it again?
Oh, well, it gives you back some of your
the nutrients,
the vitamins that it's so vitamin rich, and it's from your body, so it's like
weird.
Yeah, It was wild. So I did that.
You out?
Yeah, and my doula at the time, she's like, you can keep the tincture for when later you have like PMS or whatever, and just put a little bit on your tongue. And I lost it. So I also had, this is my hippy dippy stuff, but I also had. She did a thing where the cord, what do you call it? The umbilical cord. She created this like beautiful mosaic and dried it. And I have it in it's really nasty. If the kids ever find it, they're going to be like, what the hell is this? But at the time, I really loved it.
I mean,
yeah,
it's a crazy, a magical, scary roller coaster ride, but it ends in beauty for the most part, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try to make this as short as I can. I was over baked. They wanted to induce me because I wasn't showing any signs. So I didn't have a doula or anything. They went in on the due date. I guess I could have. No, it was like 4 days past maybe the due date or whatever.
Yeah, and
it was very, very long. I would think I was in there for like 3 days or something. I mean, I don't know.
Wow.
I can't remember how many hours, but it was a long time. But and then I was not contracting at all, so I was like at 0. And then they gave me some Pitocin, and it started to help because your uterus has to contract and get to a 10 to deliver the baby. And so it was like just at 0.
Make the hole bigger.
Yeah. And then they would check again and it was still like steel trap door. And I'm like, oh my gosh, get this thing out. But then the contractions come and they come and they come in. It's so painful. And I was also trying to hold out on epidural. I thought I was going to get it, but I was trying to hold out. But there's a window with the epidural.
Right.
Like you can't wait too long. So you endure this horrific pain that I have never felt. Can I just say,
my mother-in-law, who was a nurse, ICU nurse, she's an amazing woman, and I was telling her about my plan of like not, having, and she goes, oh, honey, in my day, the only women who got epidurals were the doctor's wives. Get the epidural. Like,
yeah. Well, and I mean, I understand.
But it's to each their own. I get it.
Some people want to feel everything.
Yeah.
I was going to see how far I could go without, but I mean, it's in the movies.
Yeah,
that part was in the movies. Yeah. Like I was not sitting here coming and orgasming like your friend. I wasn't like, oh yeah. I was like, and I'm not good with pain. I mean, it was just, and then you're bent over, and then your partner.
You're the most vulnerable
so
will ever be.
The pain is just. It's unbelievable.
And you're splitting in two.
You're split. I mean, it's crazy. And then Nick, my husband is just, they're looking at you
Oh,
like
yeah,
you're
terrified.
a feral animal. Like they're just like,
Yeah.
They're terrified for you.
Yeah.
They're like, I haven't never heard these sounds come out of
And
my
this is
wife.
why the doula actually is really good, because she calmed my husband down, made him feel like I wasn't gonna probably die. Probably not.
It was crazy. Then it gets to like level 10, and then I was like, give me the epidural. And the guy that did my epidural came in and was like, all right, we're going to have to wait until you get to a level 10. And I was like, I'm at a level 10.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. And then he goes, just kidding. Here you go.
Oh, what a dick.
I had a comedian. I'm like, real funny fucker. Like, give me the goddamn needle thing.
Yeah.
But it was actually funny, and it did help relax me.
Okay.
And I think about that guy sometimes. I'm like, you know
that's
what?
Nice.
He's making his job work.
Yeah.
And he's making people laugh. But I remember just being like, are you?
I will. I have made the decision.
Yeah. But anyway, and then the epidural actually helped me relax enough to open wide enough.
Oh yeah.
And then I went from 2 to 10.
Oh wow.
My whole was
and then the baby fell out.
And then she just fell out. And then no. And then I had to push, and it's so crazy when you push, you feel like you're taking a dump. And everyone's like, how do you know how to push? And you're like, you just do.
Yeah.
I didn't have all those Lamaze classes or anything. So I was just like, I'm familiar with dropping a two. So
yeah. Actually, for Calvin, I did, because I couldn't get him out. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pretend I'm pooping instead.
Yes.
And I actually pooped.
Well, that happens a lot.
It's really upsetting, though. It was really upsetting. I looked,
a lot.
because I'm really flexible. So I basically had my head down by my vagina, and I was like, oh. I go, oh. And the nurse cleaned it up really quick, and I looked at him, and I was like, oh.
They go, nothing to see.
Yeah. And
but that happens all the time. And also you split a lot. And you know what?
I did.
I hope people listening to this.
Don't be scared.
No, I want you to be scared.
Yeah.
You should be scared. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's scary. It's not talked about enough. And if you still want to have a baby after hearing all this, then you should have a baby.
Yeah.
But if you're on the fence, I think you should know all the facts and
absolutely
the hot deets. Some people have really wonderful stories.
I'm so jealous of that.
Yeah, and those, you're going to hear all about. So what they're going to want to tell you, and that's what's on the TVs and the shows. But it's not all rainbows and butterflies. In fact, it's terrifying. So anyway, I have her, and she comes out blue. Not
scary.
Not crying, not anything. This also can happen, which nobody tells you about, that they can come out stunned, but it's very scary. For a while, her APGAR score was really low. She wasn't breathing. The cord was around her neck. Both my girls had the cord around their neck.
Really?
Luckily, like the doctors are so used to seeing things, but you're not. So I for the first 30 seconds panicked. I thought she was.
Yeah.
I was hyperventilating, freaking out. The doctor was like talking to Nick, like, do you want to cut the cord or and he's like, cut the fucking, you do it. Like, get this cord out. What are you and he's like, oh, okay. We're like, what? Why is everybody not, freaking out? And but they're very professional. And so they brought her over to the table. They had to pink her up. They had to get her moving, basically get oxygen. She wasn't having oxygen. I thought she was going to have to go to the NICU. They thought maybe she would, right? This is where they tell me to take the clothes off. They bring her. So one of the best things you can do is bring the newborn right onto the mother's chest.
Yeah. Skin to skin, baby.
Skin to skin, get warmth. It's really beautiful, actually. That's the other thing. It's very terrifying, but it's also unbelievably beautiful. The most amazing thing I've ever experienced twice. And when they put Gianna, my oldest, on my chest, she started pinking up. So she started coming to life, breathing more. It was actually the mother healing the baby and healing me. And then she started to, she came to, they did the APGAR score again, which is basically like, how is your baby doing on a scale of, I don't even know, 1 to 5, 10. Anyway, then she passed that score, and then she started finding my nipple. And then I'm so sorry. There's more. I don't know if this is a two-parter. But then she started doing that. That was beautiful. The moment that they I mean, I was very lucky with latching. And it's amazing that they know what to do a lot of the times if you're lucky. Okay, so then I have her. It's crazy, right? Okay, but we did it. Then I moved to the postpartum room, which is post-birth, right? So it's birthing room, and a lot of times it's a postpartum room. They take me to the postpartum room. they keep saying you're going to need to pee. You need to pee. Have you peed yet? And I said, no. First of all, I don't fucking know what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave birth. I don't know what came out. Yeah. I'm numb from the waist
and you have
down.
to have a catheter in when you get the epidural.
So you're supposed to have a catheter in.
Yeah.
I did not. Nobody put one in. So I had the worst pain of my life, worse than the contractions. And I thought that this was a postpartum. I mean, they say your placenta starts to shrink and your uterus starts to shrink.
Yeah, that's true. It hurts. It contracts.
So it contracts. So it hurts even after you give birth. So, and when they breastfeed, it hurts a little bit. I thought that that's what that pain was, but it got worse and worse and worse. They said, you have to pee. You have to pee. So they'd take me to the bathroom and I'm like, I don't know. Is it coming out? Like I can't control my bladder. I have an epidural and mine was really strong. The guy wasn't joking there. And so like I did, but I had no idea I was supposed to get a catheter. I thought that the postpartum nurses were going to take care of that.
Yeah.
And so what ended up happening was I was in so much pain. I was blacking out and I thought I was going to die.
Oh
and I was screaming at the top of my lungs in fear and pain. And
was this in LA or was it?
This was at Good Samaritan.
Okay.
And downtown. And finally a nurse supervisor heard me down the hall. And they don't normally hear these level of screams. They're
in the postpartum. Yeah.
That's in the birth.
There are screams. It's intense.
Yeah. So with the epidural, by the way, I didn't really scream much and it was very peaceful. But afterwards, so I was like, I know something is wrong. Something is wrong. So the lady came and checked my bladder and I was something like 200 cc's. I was basically like 2 giant liter bottles of water in my bladder. My bladder had expanded so much that it almost burst.
Oh my God.
And I could have died. So the lady, she catheterized me and then the pain went away. But my bladder was so fucked up from that. I had to have a catheter for the first week or 10 days after giving birth because I couldn't control my bladder. I called the catheter Kathy. I had to figure that out, make her a friend.
Yeah.
I had to like lug her around with a newborn.
Oh my God.
And it really fucking sucked. So just know that you're supposed to pee after, and if nobody's giving you a catheter and if you haven't peed, you need to talk to a supervisor or something. I think that nurse might have gotten fired, but we had to file a complaint because it impacted my
deal.
health.
Yeah.
Most of the nurses are phenomenal and they should get paid 4 times more than they do for all the work that they do. But that was a miscommunication there. And so that was,
dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, me too. But that was really hard. And then, postpartum depression, anxiety, and OCD hit. So it's a fun time.
Yeah.
It's a fun time. No, but I mean, point being, hire a doula, hire all the support that you can, prep yourself as much as you can.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to our next guest because she's going to talk about like the postpartum doula. And I really wish that I had one of those because with Cal, my son, I had when you have like a duct, not
mastitis.
I had mastitis and I ended up going to the ER.
Yep.
Because, and I did talk to I was texting with her and basically I had a fever of like 106.
Holy shit.
And then
that's when your milk ducts get clogged.
Which is common, actually.
Which is common. And you need to massage them out or try to get them out. But sometimes you don't know what's happening or you don't catch
I didn't know.
And then you get a fever and an infection called mastitis. Yeah.
And my poor baby, I couldn't be near my newborn. It was just, and he needed me. And then we unfortunately with my daughter, or fortunately with my daughter, breastfeeding was easy with her. With him, it never was. And he was always underweight. But I just kept thinking, I've done it before. It should be working. And I think that's the annoying thing about births and babies and kids. And everything is different. Your birth is different. I was still chasing that dream of having like a spiritual birth. I was calling upon my ancestors in the room, which I did. That was actually nice. But like, yeah, it's just it's annoying that you can have your plan. Yeah. But it rarely goes to plan.
Yeah. And I mean, ultimately you need support for whatever happens. And, I think like we're talking about this more. This isn't complaining about giving child, this is women just talking about it more, being okay to talk about it more. Yeah. And with the doulas, this is not a bougie thing. Like back in the day, women were just dying nonstop. I mean, they were dying from childbirth and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cared. It was just like, that's a part of being a woman. So now we have more education, preparation, healthcare, which hopefully will not go away.
Yeah.
But women are warriors, mothers are warriors, and hire a doula. Can't wait to talk to Kristin.
Let's talk to her.
Oh.
Let's get her.
Okay.
Let's get her on the line. Let's get her on the line. Hello.
Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Hi, Kristin.
Welcoming our guest.
I'm really excited to have you on because I love working with you, and you've had me on your podcast, Ask the Doulas, and you own Gold Coast Doulas.
And you're one of our sleep consultants. So I've had you on our podcast many times. So I'm excited to be one of your earliest guests.
Yes.
We are too.
So thank you. And I know you chatted with Vanya a little bit earlier, but we both have our interesting birth stories that we talked about earlier.
And I have 2 children. I have an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old, but for both of them I had doulas. But both were different experiences because one was in New York and one was in LA, and it was actually amazing, especially for the second one because I did a bunch of like classes with her leading up. It was very
love it,
wild. So I'm so excited to hear, because when my friends get pregnant, I'm like, trust, I would do it. I get a doula for real. Like takes so much pressure off, and like for me, my mental. But I mean, I don't want to, but I want to hear your.
Yeah, because I think that's why I wanted to chat about this as well, because I don't think I was educated enough about doulas and how valuable it is, and what I fell into the kind of, I guess, the not trap, but of that doulas were kind of more of like a super affluent thing, like it was like a luxury kind of, like, how now I've learned like therapeutic massages are like vital. It's not just bougie. And as I've gotten to know doulas and like the value and what you guys bring, and you having had one, I wish that I had one so badly.
I almost want to have another child just to have the experience. But I want to hear, from your perspective, how did you get started in this?
Yeah, tell us your story.
So I hired doulas before becoming a doula, and loved that support with my daughter. I didn't know about birth or postpartum doulas, but with my second pregnancy with my son, after getting involved in breastfeeding advocacy, having a NICU baby and preeclampsia, and a lot of challenges with feeding especially, I got to meet doulas at a rally that I helped create. And so there I got really engaged with all of the birth and baby community. And right when I found out I was pregnant with my second, I hired doulas. And I did not know about postpartum doulas at that time.
Yeah.
They weren't as
I didn't
popular.
know about that either.
I
didn't have one, and I wished I would have been able to.
Same. That support is so different, completely different trainings and roles. I am both a certified birth doula as well as a certified postpartum and infant care doula, and went on to continue education and became a newborn care specialist. And so I'm passionate about that all-encompassing non-medical care from conception through the first year.
Wow. Okay. So it was your personal journey that got you into like.
So, and you had a doula for your children as well?
Yes, not for my first, but for my second, I hired doulas. And then became a doula soon after. I actually started teaching childbirth education classes right when my son was born, signed up for them during pregnancy, and started teaching when my son was 3 months old. And my students wanted me to become their doula. And so I thought as a hobby, I would go to Florida and take this 4-day training and work towards certification to be able to pick and choose from the clients that had wanted to work with me that were in my 8-week childbirth class. And so when I had my first experience supporting a birth, I fell in love with the work and decided that it wasn't just a hobby, that I wanted to support families even further in that way. And eventually, left a birth doula collective, started my own solo practice, and then joined together with a labor and delivery nurse who is also a birth doula and educator. And we started Gold Coast Doulas over 10 years ago together.
Wow.
Where are you guys located at?
Oh, yeah.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And while that is local, they do have a sleep consulting, subsector or whatever. And we do that nationally. So that's good to know. And we work with the postpartum doulas sometimes. And we were, if we draft up a plan and help our clients, then sometimes the postpartum doula will enact like the sleep plan.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's awesome. It's an amazing company. And honestly, Kristin, I look up to you as just like a entrepreneur that's a mother, that is a woman, and I know how hard you work, and I just think you're great.
I love that.
I feel the same way about you, Jackie, and I'm so happy to have you on the team. And as you mentioned, even though we are located in Michigan, a lot of our services, including and especially the virtual sleep consulting for not only infants, but also up to age 5, we have virtual classes, everything from grandparents to preparing for multiples. Our breastfeeding and newborn survival classes are virtual. Mm-hmm. And we have a Tired as a Mother sleep series that is in 3 ages and phases. And so
and your book.
we work with families all over the world. And yes, I have a book, Supported Your Guide to Birth and Baby, that I co-authored with my former business partner. And she's a sleep consultant and postpartum doula, Alyssa Veneclaus. And then she and I created a course together during the pandemic called Becoming a Mother. That's still thriving. And the book is actually based on the modules in the course.
Very cool.
Awesome. Oh, I have the book on my shelf, and what's
the book called again?
Supported Your Guide to Birth and Baby. Okay. And it's available in ebook, paperback, hardcover, and we recorded the audiobook ourselves in a studio in Grand Rapids.
I have a friend who just went on maternity leave yesterday, and I'm like, I'm going to get her the book.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is so helpful. It really is fantastic. And I think like it covers the things, like from your perspective as a doula, it covers the things that no one else really talks about. You know what I mean? Like they'll give you, which is all sweet and but like baby clothes and a bunch of toys and stuff. But like this book is gonna get to the real deal of like what you need to know.
It's so interesting because I think I have a lot of anxiety that was wrapped around every time I got pregnant. I was just so nervous and scared, and because like our society, we don't really have we don't attend our we don't attend births of our family or whatever. I think like in the olden days, and I just felt so scared, being alone. By the way, Kristin, I've cried on every podcast. I'm trying not to. I'm like, why am I starting to get? No, I just I'm emotional, but I'm like,
feel free to.
Yeah,
I'm emotional as a doula.
I was like, why am I getting emotional?
I'll hold space for you, Vanya.
You're safe here.
No, I just wanted to warn you. No, I'm okay. But no, it's that thing where it does make me sad that we don't like have that community. Like I had only, I'm gonna cry. I had only witnessed one birth, and it was a stillborn, and so before I had my own children. So I think like having the opportunity to have a doula who has the experience, who's witnessed lots of birth, who's not just medical, for me was like really necessary, because I was afraid that I was going to die. I was afraid the baby was going to die. I mean, I wish that I had, but I wonder if all mothers think that. I don't know.
Oh, I did. But I mean, I'm sure with your experience that played a huge factor in your fear.
Yeah, having witnessed that, it's hard to release the trauma. And as a longtime birth and postpartum doula, I have a therapist that I talk through trauma that I witnessed at birth that may not necessarily affect my client, and they may have thought they had an amazing birth, but sometimes things stick with me, and I don't want to bring that to my next client. I don't want it to affect my career, my family. So I not only am a big advocate for my clients seeking therapy, but in order to do this work, I have to invest in the time to process what I've seen. And I am a loss certified doula. So I have attended known and unknown losses, and it does take a toll on you.
Yeah, it was known, but it was, it was really sad.
I mean, I think it's okay to be sad about it and to talk about
Absolutely.
it, I mean, thanks for sharing, Kristin. I think about sometimes what you guys do, and I'm like, I don't think I could ever do that. But to hear you processing and, getting support for yourself makes a lot of sense. And I mean, I think that most of the people listening are mothers, but also just women or people who are not mothers, hopefully are listening as well. I do think it's an important thing to know and to share that it's done so frequently giving birth that we just think, oh, it's like an everyday thing. Yeah, you give birth. I don't think we really hold enough space as our society to go, process like the fear that you are risking your life in a way, getting pregnant, and carrying. You don't know what kind of risks that you might have. You don't, a lot of the times we don't know. And so sometimes when I think about people that don't have kids and are, deciding whether to have them or not, that's their own personal choice. But I definitely think people need to be aware that it is scary.
Well, and also like you doing the birthing education classes. Those, and I know they do a little bit at the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Like you do a little bit,
right.
But it's definitely, I think the more the more comfortable, like for the more I feel educated about something, the less scared I am,
Yeah.
And then having someone like you in a room with me, like for the doula portion, and I had classes leading up for the one I did. I don't know if you do education with your clients before.
We do prenatal visits as well as, offer childbirth education classes. So
amazing.
Yes. And I'm a type A personality and a planner. So I took Lamaze classes with both of my pregnancies, even though they were, back to back, and, invested in doulas and planned for birth and baby the way I did for other life occasions like college. And I talk about that in the book about budgeting for birth and baby the way you would for a wedding or building a home.
That is so crucial. Yeah.
Yeah. And everything from massages that you mentioned, Jackie, and like looking at baby registries in a different way. I'm a certified baby registry consultant. And looking at not needing all of the baby gear and gadgets until later. And they sit around in your house, collect dust. And, for those who live in big cities, there's not a lot of extra space. So invest in services. I think it should be a day or overnight postpartum doula or a sleep consultant.
Yes.
But there are many other services like meal delivery services based on diet and health needs and, a housekeeper, things that make life easier, diaper service.
Oh. Yeah. And I want to clarify too, because when I said before I thought it was bougie, that after going through it, it is absolutely not. the mentality behind this is all wrong, honestly, in our country, in our society. This is vital, right? Like, these are vital things that you need. Like, obviously maybe not certain things, but in caring for yourself and the newborn are vital. Your health as the mother is the most important thing. I mean, also the baby's health, but it's connected. Yeah. So that was something that I mean, needs to be communicated to people with baby registries and stuff like that. Like, how in wedding registries, they have like a honeymoon, like, thing, like have a services thing at least that people can put money towards. And if you know somebody that's having a baby and if they have that, put money in that. Yes. Don't just give them like an 18th swaddle, because they don't know how much they're going to need it, but they're going to need it. And this is not bougie stuff. This is sleep. This is health. Yes. This is support. It's.
I wish I would have had a doula, because
postpartum
doula, and also and then also help with a sleep. Someone to stay with. I was so
a night nurse.
I guess one thing I should say is I wasn't around have never lived in the same area as my family. So like I think had I lived closer with my parents or my sister, and I would have gotten some of that support that's partly why I got in the first time I had my daughter. Got a doula was because I knew I knew I needed that. I'm an actor by trade, so I know I'm all emotional. Like I know I need that support, like emotionally and like spiritually, that I couldn't get because my parents weren't going to be there, or my sister or whoever,
Yeah, and I would say even if you are in your family, get it, because people don't always know how to support. Right. Like they think that they know, but they might not. So to educate them on how they could use support, which kind of brings me to my next question to you, Kristin, is do you mind quickly specifying the different types of doulas and what services they offer?
Absolutely, Jackie. So there are many types of doulas, and some of them we offer internally at Gold Coast, and other services we do not, but I will try to be as succinct as I can. So starting with fertility doulas, we do not offer that, but it is a growing industry where a trained support person walks along the fertility journey and can even go to the appointments and help with relaxation and support and advocacy. So that is a service we don't have at Gold Coast. There are bed rest doulas, antepartum, who support in home or hospital with everything from childbirth class preparation, setting up birth plans, postpartum planning, and we do a lot of sibling care support for our clients who are on bed rest. And since I was on bed rest myself, I can personally have that compassion for the stress of, a pending induction and all the things that need to be done so we can run errands and get the other kids snacks and help emotionally. So that is a service that we offer. And then birth doulas support throughout pregnancy and during labor. And we have 3 primary types of support. The first would be information. So giving resources on everything from childbirth classes to pediatricians to, any kind of expert in that birth and baby space. So if they want information on cord blood banking, for example, then we're able to give our clients the resources that we know both nationally as well as locally. And then that emotional support or coaching, as I like to call it. And so we can remind them of their birth preferences and support the partner, or if other family members are at the birth, the entire family. And we work together as a team with the nurse if it's in a hospital and doctor or nurse midwife. And then we also attend home births and birth center births Some doulas have a specialty and only attend, say, home births. But at Gold Coast, we support all types of birth plans and support planned surgical births and have had OR trainings. We have VBAC certifications on our team. I'm a VBAC doula, so those clients that are attempting a vaginal birth after a surgical birth. And
OR is operating room.
Yes, okay. Operating room. Sorry, I'm used to all my doula terms.
I know. No, I just, clarifying for the layman, I knew everything. No, I'm just kidding. I wasn't quite sure either. Okay, thanks.
And then we support clients who want an epidural and those seeking an unmedicated hospital or home or birth center birth. So there is a misconception that doulas are only for unmedicated births. That is not true. Now, there are some doulas that's all they support. And when I was new in my doula career, that was sort of the typical doula is they were considered kind of crunchy and confused often with midwives. And now we are more mainstream as an industry. Things have evolved a lot in 13 years.
Yeah. And that was what I kind of thought. And then I was like, well, okay, you come up with this whole birthing plan. And then what about when you have to have a C-section? You've spent all this money and but it's so much more than that. You're advocating too for the mother. And that is huge.
Exactly.
Because the hospitals are overbooked. I mean, it's wild.
That's
I mean,
true.
not all of them. I know there are good hospitals, but you realize when you're in there, you're one of so many.
Oh my God. I had my daughter in NYU Langone, and it was like we were sharing rooms with 2 people. It was insane. And I had her in September. Lots of babies coming in September. And it was, I was like, as soon as they let me, I was like, I gotta leave. I wanted to leave immediately.
Me too. And there were times where the heart monitor was on me and it slipped off for a while, or I had to go to the bathroom or something. And it's you're trying to get the nurse, and these nurses are phenomenal. So I am not ever knocking on that, but they're just so busy and everything is so chaotic. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, the heart monitor, I realized, wasn't on for a while. Yeah. And I'm like, I think this thing's important. Could somebody help? And there's so many elements that you're not thinking of you're about to give birth. Yeah. You're having contractions. Your brain is not the sharpest it's been. Or postpartum, which is another service, right? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will finish up with the birth doula support. So we have a standard prenatal visit. Some doulas offer more. And then a follow-up visit within 2 weeks of delivery. We usually stay about an hour or so after the birth. So can take photos, help with the first latch. If a client chooses to breastfeed, make sure food's ordered. And for hospitals where you transfer to the postpartum floor, get, the things packed up from the labor and delivery room. We support physically.
I'm so sorry. You support physically, but you also support. So what I was saying before was that they did not make sure that I peed after I gave birth. And I had the epidural, so I didn't know I had to pee, and I didn't know I couldn't pee. And my bladder blew up. So that would be an example of something when they transferred me to postpartum floor. No, they weren't communicating. So I
catheter.
almost catheter. So I just want people to know too. It's not just support can be general, but it's you guys are on top of that,
right? And that physical support can be labor massage, hip squeezes, counter pressure, showing partners how to do physical support. And I work just as hard with an epidural with physical support. If a client has movement in their legs, getting them into different positions, if labor has stalled, we know different techniques to try to avoid interventions. Of course, we support whatever direction our client wants to take and the choices they make. But we can give information on the risks and benefits and alternatives to things that may come up in labor, like my own did when I had preeclampsia. And so you can feel like you're making informed decisions as long as it's not an emergency. and rather than thinking that birth happened to you.
Yeah.
And so, because that's what we want for our clients is to, regardless of like what happens, to have them feel like they had a say and were empowered, even if it wasn't that birth plan that they dreamed of.
Yeah.
Right. How do you help them pivot? How do you help them adapt emotionally, mentally, physically? So that's the value of hiring, you guys as well. Even if, like my dumb comment before of like, I spent all this money and now the birth plan's thrown out the window. It's not the case when you have a doula.
Yeah. And just knowing what is normal and what really is an emergency, I'm able to reassure partners if they have questions. And again, work as a team and help the busy nurses in getting into different positions or going to get a refill in the water. I know where things are at in a hospital, and with permission from the nurse, I'm able to help fill in some of the care gaps in that way. And certainly I feel like that 2-week visit, whether this is baby 1 or 5 for clients, is beneficial because oftentimes we're not seeing our OB or our midwife until 2 weeks after delivery. I mean, 6 weeks after delivery.
6
so
weeks.
Our 2-week visit. Yeah. So 6 weeks is standard. And a lot can happen emotionally, physically. Feeding is crucial in that time.
So much.
And so we can give resources to lactation consultants and, postpartum support groups, therapists, if there's anything that we're seeing that is not typical for recovery support and even newborns. So there are conditions that come up where sometimes our clients need to be readmitted to the hospital.
I had to be.
And so, so we're able to, make suggestions that this doesn't seem normal and they should call their doctor or their pediatrician and go back. So we have, helped our clients advocate for themselves, not only at the birth, but in that postnatal phase.
Which is, again, huge. You don't realize it until you're in it.
Yeah.
And really, hospitals basically like give you the baby and then they're like, bye.
And you're like, oh my God.
And you did a couple classes. Yeah, you did a couple classes like 5 months ago. I mean, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like you're letting me take this baby home.
Are you sure? And you could think you're as prepared as possible, but you never prepared enough for
and the partner, again, we like dads or partners to be the superstar at the birth. And so I like to whisper to the partner and be like, okay, remember to like have them go empty their bladder, or here, like a sip of water is really great in between contractions, or, just reminders because they want to fix things.
Right.
They don't know how to help, especially if it's their first baby. So I like to make the dads the superstar and, help them in areas they're comfortable. Some dads want to hold the hand and that's it. And others want to be physically like very active and involved. And so I never want to replace the partner or any other family support members. I just want to enhance the experience.
I will say for my birth doulas, that was part of why I knew I wanted one for the second, because it was so great for my husband. Just because he was nervous for me and also wanted, and so the support that they gave was amazing. And if you are trying to convince your husband that you need a doula, that right there it's very beneficial to them. The partner.
It is. My husband loved it because he could just emotionally attune and didn't feel like he had to know all the things from our childbirth class and fix things. And he knew that there were experts, even though it was, not our first baby, and he didn't want to be replaced. And there was hesitation from him before I got into the work about, the budget and feeling like he was replaced and would be sitting in a corner. And that's so I even experienced and can relate to my clients who are trying to convince their partners to invest in a doula, having personally had those conversations myself.
Yeah.
Wow. And you haven't even gotten to postpartum yet, right?
Sorry.
Oh,
right.
No.
So there are bereavement
be a
doulas, as I
three-parter.
touched on earlier.
Okay.
And bereavement or loss doulas can help with known or unknown loss. And I mentioned that I am a certified loss doula. I have other loss doulas on our team. And so we can help process that, give resources, physically attend a birth for a known loss. So that is another profession within the doula
That's
world.
amazing. Yeah.
And then postpartum doulas, which are becoming more popular, but still not fully understood. And there are different trainings and different focuses for postpartum doulas. Some trainings are focused more on mothering the mother in that recovery phase of 6 to 8 weeks and are not as infant focused. So it's more feeding support and sibling care and household tasks and light meal preparation. So that's daytime support only. And then there are other doula certification programs like the one I went through that have an infant care component that cover working with multiples and overnights. So when I started Gold Coast, we have always been focused on overnight doula care, newborn care, and really being more long-standing than, say, that 6 weeks of recovery. We work through the first year. We transition, of course, to sleep consultants like Jackie after that 3-month phase, and are working in tandem with implementing a sleep plan for our clients who are wanting that additional support. And so with overnight care, there are different overnight professions, but as overnight postpartum doulas, we still support the entire family. We have specific feeding trainings. I do have nurses on my team, but they don't take the nurse role. No, nothing medical. And I do also have certified lactation consultants and IBCLCs within my team to be able to help beyond the feeding training that we have. And so with overnight, it's focused on sleep shaping and healthy sleep habits, supporting the family with feedings, whether they're formula feeding, pumping, or breastfeeding, and then optimizing rest for the family. And so newborn care specialists, which I am one, have some on our team, are a bit different because their focus is on the baby or babies alone and not supporting the mother or the entire family or other siblings. And so that tends to be either 24/7 care in a household, or working for the first 3 months may involve travel. And that is a bit different than the term night nurse or night nanny, although the newborn care specialist profession is replacing a lot of those terms. But say a night nanny may be a nanny who just plans to work overnight or is asked to by their employer, but they may not be trained and certified in newborn care and conditions and feeding. So there is a bit of a difference.
Yeah. And
yeah. And then another doula profession that is taking off, and we do not offer this service, is a death doula. And that's end of life care for all ages. And that I have some friends who are death doulas. I would hire one for my own planning, certainly. I think it's incredible. And again, the coaching and the support and the resources and making things as simple for loved ones as possible
while they're grieving.
That's amazing.
Because we're expected to plan a whole.
Right.
That's great. Sign me up. I want one.
Yeah. So it's not something that I plan to expand the agency to address, but I know some great death doulas around the country and refer them. And it's a totally different training skill set.
Double D's.
But that empathy and attunement that doulas offer, that traditionally we hadn't been a profession. Women have been attending birth since the start of time. They've been supporting the postnatal recovery phase since the start of time. And so it's culturally something that still exists in a lot of tribal communities, in Malaysian culture, and the first 40 days Chinese culture. So it is something that is lacking and needed in the U.S.
Absolutely.
Yes. And, you know, one could say like, oh, we should all just be there for each other. We should do that. We can't anymore. It's very expensive here. Everybody has to work. Everybody's busy. They want to help the best that they can. But, you know, the reality is that we also need to pay and recognize women being very, very good at these roles and that they should be paid for them.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, and do you even have male doulas? No offense to men.
There are. I personally don't at Gold Coast. I would hire a male doula anytime. I just have yet to have one approach me.
Okay.
But I have spoken at many conferences, attended trainings, and have met male doulas.
Interesting.
Some of them call themselves doula or, different variations showing that they're men. And then from attending some workshops with them and learning from them, some of them focus on supporting the partner only. Some offer postpartum support. And it is a growing profession. I know that you're out in California, that some of the doulas or male doulas are out in California.
Okay. All right. Hey, all right. There's something for everyone. Well, thank you so much, Kristin. This has been very educational, and we've loved having you. You know, thank you for sharing everything. And is there anything you want to push or promote one last time that where our friends can find you?
Oh, sure. So you can find us on social media at goldcoastdoulas.com. And of course, Jackie, you've got some amazing sleep videos. You're so funny and raw, and I love how you connect with our audience. So we're on Facebook and Pinterest. We love Pinterest for planning. YouTube and all of the social channels. Great. And then we have our website, goldcoastdoulas.com. And you can check out my book, Supported, Your Guide to Birth and Baby, on our website, supportedbook.com. You can find us on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, all of the online retailers and select bookstores.
Cool.
Great.
And then my podcast that you mentioned earlier, that there are many sleep episodes with you on, is Ask the Doulas.
Yay. All right. Thank you so much again, Kristin Revere. I don't think I got your last name in there. Go find her, go follow her, and her company. What they're doing is life-saving, really. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Oh, she's amazing. Actually, that was so wonderful.
Yeah.
Death doula.
Until Death Doula's part.
Oh, girl.
Cool.
I think you're starting a company.
I'm sorry.
I have a friend who's a hospice nurse, and she's one of the most beautiful people I know, like spiritually. Like she would be a great death doula.
Obsessed.
But the thing about the death doula, and I think from this conversation of all the conversation that all the talks that we just did with our dear friend, Kristin, is that the support, I guess, I had doulas, but the thing that I think really resonates with me, with the death doula, any other doulas, is that like, they're going to help with the shit you don't want to do too.
Yeah. Or don't know how to do.
Yeah, exactly. And then so they have like that, they have the knowledge. So you can take a little fear away from yourself, because I'm just fully fear-based. I'm trying not to be. Really, I don't want to be. And by the way, we're filming right now when the Olympics just happened. And our American girl got gold in the ice skating. And her name is, do you remember what her name is? I don't know.
Is that the one with the cool hair?
Yeah, she has the cool hair, and she's got the little thing here. Anyways, she was so without fear, and that is my goal. Anywho, I'm so sorry, I digress. But that's what it feels like. It supports you in a way that's just not, or that is knowledge, you know, and like and that's safety. It makes me feel safe.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. That's a good point. Well, that was wonderful.
Yeah.
And what are we doing? What are we doing just for ourselves?
What are we doing?
What are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Childless pleasures.
Childish pleasures of the week of the this is a great question because you know what, I've been working a lot, and so like my childless pleasures are usually a audiobook in my car.
Okay.
I did start another audiobook and it's kind of apropos for it's called The Frozen River. My mom recommended it. It's not the one that Jennifer Lawrence was in that movie. No, it's about like a midwife.
Oh.
And it's kind of like I've just started it, and it's kind of like a little like she's a little Angela Lansbury. Dun 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 dun.
Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah,
Cute.
it's a little bit. It's like she's a knowledgeable doula. No, midwife. She delivers babies, but she's also kind of like the physician that. But it was back in the day, like Paul Revere times.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Not Kristin Revere.
Not Kristin Revere, but Paul Revere times. Yeah.
Related? No.
Maybe. We should ask her. Dang it, we forgot. But yeah, that's it.
Okay.
I'm listening to the audiobook, Frozen River, and I'm really enjoying it.
Cool.
It's really good.
We had the stomach flu like last week, and
That's
so it's
right.
just been a shit show.
You.
Actual shit show. I could, but in the moments of reprieve, I like to relax and wind down with some slaughterings or murders. So for 48 hours is what, you know,
Nice.
It's terrible, but sometimes,
Yeah.
you know what? It's terrible what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
So like this is at least a controlled thing, and there's an investigation, and it's always the husband or ex, but you know, I mean, not always, usually. But it's a very easy thing for me to just check out and watch.
Yeah. My mom would always watch that, and growing up, and I witnessed a lot of like that kind of. Yeah. She would have been a true crime junkie if you know if they called it that back then. Yeah,
well, I'm a total true crime whore. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks to Kristin for being on, and
thank you.
Till next time.
Yep.
Thank you.
The full Momty baby. Thank you guys so much for watching our show today. We really appreciate you. We also want to give a huge shout out to our production team at SCV Studio. Ooh. Thank you, Tyler, Anthony, and Juan. You guys are amazing. We appreciate you. Of course, thank you to our family, our friends who support us through this, who
watch our kids during
exactly. I was going to say parent alongside us, who we love you. And if this episode resonated with you at all, please share it. That would be great. And
like and subscribe.
That's right. Like and subscribe. Leave us a good review, 5 stars. 5 stars.
Yeah.
And then also, if you'd like, follow us on our social media. That's at
The Full Momty Podcast. And we're on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. So come on and see the journey on social media.
Social media. Love you guys.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.